What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Kid Taj. Today, we're going to be talking about Sixers rookie Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, as most of you should know, missed the entire season last year due to that foot injury. And this is why he is a rookie again this year. He didn't play a single minute last year, so he's qualifying for as a rookie in this year 2017-18 NBA season. And this is a guy that, he was drafted first, of course, in 2016. One of the most, underwhelming, just overall weak draft classes in the past decade, maybe. I don't know. Obviously, we're only a year removed from that draft. However, after one season and the rookie of the year averaged like 11 points, it's pretty hard to see a lot of these players from that draft class going on and becoming someone that can have a huge impact on a team. And I know Brandon Ingram in LA, he's a guy that should take a step. Jaylen Brown is another guy that we think, okay, he might be decent, right? But at this point, there really is no guarantee. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon, I think, is legitimately, at the moment, the best player from that draft class. He had the best season last year. There's no reason why he shouldn't be the best player at the moment from that 2016 draft class. However, in this next season, we're going to see more players take, I think, a step forward. And Ben Simmons, we're going to get to see him for the first time in NBA regular season games. It's going to be pretty cool. And hopefully playoff games, because I have this team being, I think, a 7th seed in the Eastern Conference. And in a pretty weak Eastern Conference, this is a team that is on the rise that should be able to make it into the playoffs. They talked about they were going to make the playoffs. And I think everybody would find it pretty exciting to see a team like this, after being at the bottom of the East for so many years, finally make it into the NBA playoffs. And they will surely have their best season since, I think that was, 2012? That was last time they were in the playoffs, and they beat the Bulls in the first round as an 8th seed because of the D Rose injury. I think they'll have their best season since then, and maybe they have a better season than that. We will find out, of course, but a lot of that responsibility of, carrying this team, I shouldn't say carrying, but just having this team make the playoffs, it's gonna be largely reliant on Ben Simmons' ability to be effective as a rookie, to have a positive impact on a game, to use that 6'11 frame, that, point guard ability. There's a lot to talk about with Ben Simmons, and I think that he's one of the most intriguing young players in the NBA. While a lot of people want to talk about Karl Anthony Towns and Kristaps Porzingis, and especially the Greek Freak, this guy is someone that he's basically a point guard in a power forward's body. I mean, I think he's like 6'10 or 6'11, but he's got borderline elite playmaking ability, at least for someone his size. He's a guy that can handle the ball, and of course his passing ability is on point already, even as a very young guy. We've seen him in a few preseason games. Obviously not really a huge scorer, and in this rookie year, I'm not expecting him to have a lot of 25, 30-point games. It's going to be really hard for him to do that, because he's going to be a guy that the defense is going to be all over. They're going to try to pressure this guy as much as they can, because he is dangerous. A guy like this, a guy as fast as Ben Simmons is, someone that can move like him and that can pass like him and that has the same basketball IQ as him, you got to keep track of him. And the defense will be keying in on him in a lot of the matchups, and they will make him pass the ball, and that's what we've seen. I mean, he hasn't really scored a ton of points yet. Obviously, we kind of just started. I mean, they haven't played enough games for us to make a final analysis and say Ben Simmons can't really score. I think Ben Simmons' size will really help him, and I think that with the other players that are going to be out there in the starting lineup with him, you got Markelle Fultz, Joel Embiid, JJ Redick, and I think Dario Saric. Those are 4 guys that can have an impact on a game, and those are 4 guys you got to keep track of, and especially guys like Fultz and Embiid. These are some big time players, especially Joel Embiid. So Ben Simmons is not going to be like the main guy to be afraid of. I think Joel Embiid is going to be the biggest problem for other teams. So that also might help him, operate and get some buckets of his own, get open more. His jump shot is definitely going to be something that, if he can hit that shot, it's going to be a lot easier for him. We're probably going to see a lot better of his season. If he can't hit a jump shot all year, you really shouldn't expect to see him scoring more than like 8-9 points per game, honestly, because yeah, he's a slasher, but everybody in the world is just going to be sagging off of him. Why would anyone guard him out there? So, it's going to be interesting. That will be a big determining factor in how well he plays this season. Now, when it comes to the future of a player like this, which I think is probably a more intriguing conversation, because in a rookie season, it's we kind of know what we're going to get almost. Obviously, we're not 100% sure about, how well he's going to do, but we have a limit. The guy isn't going to average more than like 15 points. I think that would be crazy if he averages more than 15 points to me, especially on a team like that. I would predict him to average around like 10 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists, maybe like that. Maybe that's like the maximum. I don't know, but especially like, because, you got to account for the fact that he has teammates that are going to take shots and get stats too, but we kind of know that he's not going to average too many points. His assists are going to be pretty good. His rebounds are going to be pretty good. And, he's not going to be just like this superhuman player right out the gate. However, when we take a look at his career trajectory, it's a lot more interesting because this guy has a ton of potential. He could end up being a really big triple-double guy in the future. He could average 20 and 10 and 8 or something like that. Or he could, be a complete bust and his shooting never comes together, so he can never score the ball, which, makes it harder to make plays for people. Obviously, a bust is a possibility for most players, and of course, if injuries happen, which, look, I'm not going to jump to calling him injury prone or saying that it's a big risk for him, because the injury he had last year, he put on like 30 pounds and then broke his foot. That's what's going to happen, but I don't think he's going to put on 30 pounds again, and I don't think that we can just label him as injury prone just because of that. So, I wouldn't really pay too much mind on to that, but, if he starts getting these injuries, it's like that will definitely set him back. I know you guys heard about Dante Exum, who might be out for the season again. This is a guy that came off of an ACL tear, just separated his shoulder. That's really tough, and that's like a instance where it's like you're getting injured in two completely different areas, but the injuries are so severe that you're derailing your entire career. That's a point where it's like, it doesn't matter how good you are, if you're getting injured like that, your impact in the league and future is going to be extremely limited. Like Dante Exum, and I don't know if Dante Exum was like that good of a player in the future. I don't know if he was going to be anything special. He might have, but now it's looking a lot more doubtful. So of course, if that happens to a young player like this, it's definitely going to be a lot harder for them to dominate, because they have to recover and get back and get back to learning how to play against NBA talent again, really. And it also stunts your growth as a player, because you're not putting in the same reps, you're not getting all the experience you would be getting. Ben Simmons, either way, he has this amazing build, and this such a unique skill set that he should be good. Players like this, you just saw Giannis. I'm not gonna say he's gonna be the next Giannis, but he's almost as tall as Giannis. He's big. He can handle the ball. He's fast. He just can't shoot the ball. But if he gets a knack for, getting inside, finishing over people, making great plays, I think that he can be great. And yes, I do think he can be an all-star caliber player at some point in his career. However, it's really about how he develops, how his jump shot looks in 3 years, how many assists is he averaging in the first 3 years of his career, stuff like that. And time will tell, obviously. Hopefully the guy stays healthy and he will be a big part of this Sixers future, because I think we can expect the Sixers to be a frequent playoff team over the next few years. But it just all really depends on staying healthy and that jump shot, I think. That's going to do it for this video. I can't wait to see this guy and this team become something that could threaten some of the top teams in the East. I'm not going to say it's this year, but in the future, this team will definitely be dangerous. That's going to do it for this video. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.